are listening to the most comprehensive paranormal archive on the internet.
Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm continuing my series on haunted places in the U.S. As always, you can find everything to do with the podcast at the website, and that is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. And that includes episodes, all the episodes, links to social media, ways to listen, and ways to support the show, and friends of the show, including Jen, the Arcane Observer, who has her own channel, and is the co-host of the show on Saturdays, usually, whenever she can make it. And the way this series works here that I'm doing is I've been finding a handful of places in each state, maybe 5 to 10, a lot of times is how it works out, and getting summaries made about them, and include links to every location. No, not 2 links to every location. 2 links to articles about every location. That's a more accurate way to word that. And that way you can find pictures and get more information. Also, that way you can get more information about visiting these places and if or and when and how that is possible. Because I do not recommend trespassing for any reason. And so yeah, it takes care of all that. Also, I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any names of people or places. Words and names can be difficult. But anyway, we have one more location to cover here for Ohio, and then we'll be moving on to Oklahoma, and continue on here with the series. So this next location is called the Golden Lamb, and this is in Lebanon, Ohio. It is one of the state's oldest surviving landmarks, beginning in 1803 as a licensed house of public entertainment, opened by Jonas Seaman. That's Seaman. And it grew from a log tavern into the historic inn and restaurant that still operates today. Its long guest list and preserved building make it a major piece of Ohio history, as well as a famous haunted site history. The Golden Lamb was established in Lebanon in 1803, near an important travel corridor between Cincinnati and the National Road, which helped it thrive as a stop for travelers. The original structure was a log tavern, and the present brick building took shape through later expansions, including major additions in 1815, 1844, and 1878. It became known as the oldest continuously operating business in Ohio, and the Jonas family took over in 1926. The inn also became famous for its guests. Reports and historical summaries say it hosted numerous presidents, along with figures such as Charles Dickens, Mark Twain, and Harriet Beecher Stowe. Haunting stories. The Golden Lamb's best-known ghost is usually said to be Sarah Stubbs, a young girl associated with the inn, who is often reported on the 4th floor or in Sarah's room, in quotation marks there. Some accounts identify the child spirit as Eliza Clay instead, linking the haunting to the death of Henry Clay's daughter at the inn in the 1820s. So this is the thing with apparitions, unless you are really lucky or they really want to tell you who they are, and you never know for sure. It's hard to know who's there and why. Another recurring spirit is Clement. Uh, let me see here. Vallandigham. Vallandigham. Vallandigham, who died there in a accidental shooting. Incident in 1871 while trying to prove a point in a legal argument. Staff and guests have reported seeing an older man at windows, hearing a little girl's laughter in the halls, and noticing general paranormal activity throughout the building. What makes the Golden Lamb especially interesting is that its haunting lore is tied directly to documented history, not just campfire-style ghost stories. That mix of preserved architecture, famous visitors, and personal tragedies is exactly the kind of setting that tends to generate lasting folklore. Let's see here. For paranormal history fans, it's one of Ohio's most iconic, if I could say the word, old inn hauntings, and its reputation has only grown over time. So yeah, you got hotels and all those kinds of places. Let's see here. Yeah, we can schedule that sometime, MJ. Yeah, the hotel is, or the inn, or any kind of place where people are coming and staying and going. Is a big common type of place that is reported to have activity. Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me, especially going back 200 years. So moving on to Oklahoma here. We're getting on to the next state. And let's see here. We're on the Stone Lion Inn. The Stone Lion Inn in Guthrie, Oklahoma, began as a grand 1907 Victorian home built for F. E. Houghton and his family, and later served as a funeral home before becoming a bed and breakfast in 1986. Its haunting reputation centers on family tragedy, especially the death of the Houghtons' young daughter, Augusta, along with years of reports about voices, footsteps, and other unexplained activity. History. The house was built in 1907 and was described as one of the largest and most expensive homes in Guthrie at the time, costing $11,900. Again, keep in mind this is 1800s, and spanning about 8,000 square feet over 4 floors. F. E. Houghton built it for his growing family, and accounts describe the home as having housed Mr. and Mrs. Houghton plus 12 children. After financial troubles in the years after World War I, the property was leased as a funeral home, reportedly Smith's Funeral Home, for about 8 years before later becoming a private residence again, and eventually a historic inn. Reported hauntings. The most repeated legend is that Augusta Houghton died in the house as a child after a medical mistake involving cough medicine, and that her presence remains there. Guests and owners have reported a little girl waking people, patting faces, tucking them into bed, or standing beside beds at night. Other common reports include footsteps on staircases, doors opening and closing on their own, toys being scattered after being put away, children's laughter or jumping sounds, and a wooden ball rolling across the floor. Other ghost stories. Several accounts describe a pipe-smoking man in old-fashioned clothing, widely believed to be F.E. Houghton. Some visitors also report a in the basement or a lingering presence to the mirrors, which may explain why mention unidentified, if I can say the word right, apparitions. Paranormal groups have investigated the house over the years, and at least one news report noted collected voices, images, and video from the site. What makes the Stone Lion Inn especially compelling is the haunting lore is tied to a well-documented building history, rather than standing apart from it. The house's shift from family home to funeral parlor to inn gives the legends a strong atmospheric backdrop. And that blend of history, and reported activity is a big part of why it remains one of Oklahoma's best known haunted sites. And yeah, you have, again, there are certain types of places that seem to be magnets for activity. And hotels or inns are one of them. Some say, and I'm not saying this is the case with every single one, but funeral homes as well. So that's two types of locations there in one spot. Hospitals, of course, medical facilities are another. Even restaurants in some cases that are built way back when or built in older buildings seem to be draws for activity. Moving on to the next location here, we have another hotel. The Skirvin Hotel. This is in Oklahoma City. It opened in 1911 and quickly became one of the city's grandest hotels. With 225 guest rooms, luxury amenities, and a strong connection to the city's oil boom era. It later became a center for politics, celebrities, gambling, and even civil rights history, including a 1958 sit-in that helped make it the first integrated hotel in Oklahoma. Historic background. W.B. Skirvin built the hotel in the early 1910s, and it was promoted as the largest hotel in the Midwest when it opened. Over the decades, it went through boom years, ownership changes, and financial decline, then closed in 1988 before being restored and reopened in 2007. The hotel's official history also notes a major restoration completed in 2025. The haunting legend. The best known ghost story centers on Effie, a maid said to have had an affair with W.B. Skirvin and became pregnant. In the legend, and again this is a legend, she was hidden away in an upper floor and then fell from a window after being trapped and distressed. Reported phenomena tied to her include crying or a baby's cries, disembodied female voices, banging doors. I hit the table with my hand, sorry about that. Let's see here. Strange temperatures, I guess I mean shifts, and unsettling activity on the upper floors. The Skirvin story became especially famous because visiting NBA teams, including the Knicks and Bulls, in reporting about the hotel, have repeated claims of odd noises and other disturbances. That's fascinating. The legend has since become part of the hotel's identity, even though the hotel's own history page says rumors of paranormal activity circulate, but no evidence has been found. That makes the Skirvin a good example of a place where documented history and local ghost lore overlap. So here's the thing to me about no documented evidence of activity. Unless you are going to a place that you've heard about that has activity, to document it, most of the time, a lot of times anyway, when something happens, people are not thinking about documenting it with the camera. Excuse me. Or a picture, a video, or just still image, or recording a sound. They're not. You're not thinking about that a lot of times when things happen. You're just there as it's happening, and you're going through whatever feelings it causes, and then it's over. So that whole thing with no documented evidence in any place, to me, is, I just kind of tossed that out in my own mind because, well, no, there may not be evidence in a place because people having the experiences may not think about getting evidence of it when things happen. But anyway, next location here is Kane's Ballroom. Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa began life in 1924 as a garage for W. Tate Brady, then was turned into a dance hall in 1930 after Madison Kane bought it and renamed it Kane's Dance Academy. Excuse me. It later became closely tied to Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, whose radio broadcast helped make it a landmark in Western swing and one of Tulsa's most famous music venues. Historic background. The building's early history is tied to Tulsa's boom era and to the changing entertainment scene of the 1930s. After its time as a dance academy, it sat through periods of decline, then was revived in the late 1970s as Kane's Ballroom and went on to host a wide range of acts, becoming a major live music institution. Again, I do think these kinds of places, concert halls, theaters, music venues, even sports like stadiums, can also have activity going on in them because of all the people coming and going through them. Haunting reports. Local haunting stories say Kane's Ballroom is one of Tulsa's most active ghost sites. Reported phenomena include moving shadows, apparitions, disembodied voices, giggling, moaning, crying, and sudden temperature changes, with some accounts specifically naming a female spirit called Chloe, and others identifying a ghost said to be Bob Wills. So Bob Wills, the one that was part of the scene there. Notable ghost lore. A few of the most repeated stories involve sounds from the old backstage restroom area. A transparent woman in a ball gown seen by staff, and strange voices captured during investigations or late-night visits. Some accounts also connect the hauntings to the building's longer, rougher past, including its original ownership, and the social history around early Tulsa. What makes Kane's Ballroom especially interesting is that its ghost lore is and music history are tightly intertwined. For many people, the legends feel like part of the venue's identity now, almost an extension of its reputation as a place where major music history and local paranormal stories overlap. So, yeah, that makes sense. Again, these places that have these so much energy passing through them, human energy, it makes sense that there'd be activity there. We'll see what we can get through of this next location here. This is Belvedere Mansion in Claremore, Oklahoma. It was built for John Melville Bayless and his family in the early 1900s, completed in 1907, and it later went from private home to apartments before being restored by the Rogers County Historical Society. Its haunted reputation centers on reports of unexplained noises, shadow figures, hot and cold spots, objects or fixtures acting oddly, and the feeling of being touched when no one is there. Let's see. History. John M. Bayless was a railroad, banking, and land development figure who moved his family to Indian Territory in 1901 and began building the mansion in 1902. The home was intended as a grand family residence, but Bayless died of appendicitis in 1907 before it was finished, and Mary Bayless and the children lived there until 1919. Let's see here. It's a 3-story brick mansion with 4 towers, a tile roof, and ornate Victorian and Gothic styling. Changed hands several times. We're going to get to the paranormal part here real quick. The most common ghost stories say John Bayless and members of his family still reside there, especially in reports from visitors and paranormal investigators. Accounts mention footsteps, hazy or shadowy figures, toilets flushing by themselves, which, believe it or not, I've heard that before in other places, temperature shifts, and sensations of being touched. Some stories place stronger activity on the second floor, where investigators and psychics have described children playing and a distressed John Bayless, plus a woman said to have died while living there as a tenant in the 1940s. Local haunt-related pages and tour coverage continue to treat the mansion as one of Claremore's best-known paranormal sites. Today, Belvedere Mansion is a restored historic site, open for tours. Again, please check on that before you go. And special events, and remains one of the most recognizable landmarks in Claremore. A visual look at the building shows the turreted red brick exterior, and that gives it its castle-like reputation. So, good place to end there. So yeah, it sounds like a lot of family history there, and then the place was used for apartments after, which could also cause more activity, I think. But yeah, so we'll continue on with Oklahoma in the next episode in the series another time, and go from there. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.